This is my car, Xander. She's a Mercedes-Benz 260e w124 body. The w124 was in the market between 1986 to 1995. In those 11 years, it went through at least 2 exterior updates. Xander here is an earlier model w124, but she's been upgraded to the 94 to 95 look, with the exception of her trunk and rear bumper. For your reference, I'll walk you through the updates. The 90s w124s have chrome trims on the bumper. The 94 to 95 cars have a different hood, which extends downward and has a less angular look. The headlight lenses follow the curve of the hood. The 94 to 95 grille is smaller. And the hood ornament is mounted on the hood instead of the grille. This is an 18-inch Lawrencer LM5 wheel, obviously not stock. All 90s w124s have these claddings with chrome trims. The 80s w124s only had a black strip of plastic running along the side of the car. The 90s w124s have chrome trims on the door openers. The 80s w124s only had flat black plastic. The 90s w124s also have a chrome trim on the rear bumper. The 94 to 95 sedan trunk didn't have this recessed area. There's plenty of wood in the w124's interior. This strip of wood on the door sidings, I believe, are exclusive to the 90s w124s. There's very little bare plastic in the interior. Most of it is either wood or stuff that's wrapped in fake leather. My car has all power amenities. It has power windows, all of which work. The passenger side mirror is also electric. I think one of the car's most significant design flaws are the side mirrors. I'm sure a few people would disagree with me, but they're too tiny. Passenger side mirror is too short. The driver's side mirror is flat, so you get a very limited view of the road behind you. This wide-angle rear view mirror really comes in handy for those blind spots. My car has a sunroof, which I have disabled because it gets stuck sometimes. The w124 is a pretty long car, but the interior space is pretty modest. I have about 3 to 4 inches of legroom. The driver's seat is adjusted to my height. I'm about 5'8" to 5'9". It's pretty comfortable here though. These seats are well sprung. They're very bouncy. And I like this armrest, which folds up so you can seat 3 people in the rear. The w124 is one of Mercedes-Benz's most popular line of cars. They were built to last a lot of kilometers. It's not uncommon to find w124s that have 300,000 to 400,000 kilometers on the odo, and some units even have reached up to 1,000,000 kilometers. The w124 came in a number of variants. For the sedans, there's the 200D, the 300D, the 260E, the 300E, the 400D, and the 500D. The numbers represented the displacement of the engine. A 260E, for example, would have a 2.6 liter engine. The 400E would have a 4-liter engine. E if it had a gas engine, and D if it had a diesel engine. The naming convention changed after the 94 facelift. The W124 became the first official E or executive class Mercedes. The 260E became the E280. The 300E became the E320, and so on. All the car designations were prefixed with the letter E, whether it was diesel or gas. Of all the W124s, the 500E or the E500 was the most exclusive and had the highest value. It was co-developed with Porsche. It had a 5-liter V8 which developed 322 horsepower. It's recognizable by its flared fenders and its wide stance. I think there were only around 10,000 units built. Even today it still fetches quite a premium. Driving the W124 is quite a treat compared to its predecessor, the W123, which I also owned. This car has a lot of sound deadening, so it's pretty quiet here in the cabin. I've had this car for 2 years. In those 2 years, it's been my daily driver. I've had a few hiccups, but nothing too serious. Overall, I'd say that it's a pretty reliable car. Ride quality. I guess my car's not the best example of the W124's ride quality, because my suspension's been modified. But even with 18-inch wheels, low profile tires, and a lower suspension, the ride quality is still pretty decent, I think. The car was pretty advanced for its time in terms of styling. It hasn't aged as much as other cars of its generation. The car still turns heads sometimes. In terms of technology, it was pretty advanced for its time as well. It had ABS. It had the 90s W124s had airbags, electronic fuel injection. Unlike its successor, the W210, it's simple enough that it can be serviced by yourself or by a regular mechanic. It can be a DIY car. The prices of these cars vary greatly depending on the condition. Figure it out if you want a mint condition car, something that requires a bit of work, or a project car, and set your budget accordingly. I had another W124 which I bought for a very cheap sum, but I had to fix that one up before I could even drive it. If you're gonna buy a W124 or any Mercedes for that matter, figure out where the Benz shops near your place are. Going to the casa is never an option, as they will charge you an arm and a leg for even simple fixes. Tips. The 94 to 95 models were notorious for having biodegradable wiring harnesses, so ask the seller if the harness has already been replaced. Watch out for the front ball joints. If they're creaking when you turn the wheel, they need to be replaced right away. Check if the fuel pump is making noises while the car is running. Other than that, use the same checklist that you use for checking other cars. And that ends my owner's review / buyer's guide of the W124. I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you.